Welcome home. This is the Irish Roots Cafe, where every day is a holiday and there's always room for one more. And today our subject is taking a DNA test and just how simple it is, and all those old fears just aren't true anymore, because all you need is like a Q-tip, rub it in your cheek, put it in a little canister and send it back. So I'm going to do it right now, live and in person, and we have medics standing by, and I think everything will turn out just fine. But here's what you got. I'm going to just show you right now. In the mail comes the envelope from Family Tree DNA. In this case, we have an we have a Irish DNA group that we've got 700 tests so far, I think. And the more people that test, the better off you are. And it also is shared with the other people as they come along in Family Tree DNA, or who you might want to share it with. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Here's the envelope that comes in the mail. It's not too big. That's it. Take the envelope. You can dump it or save it as important memorabilia. Here's a little introductory letter from Bennett Greenspan. And here is the instructions. Important things on the instructions are things like don't drink anything too warm, don't take a test, leave at least an hour between when you, say, eat lunch or dinner, and then take the test. And stay away from the warm liquids. That can mess up the tests. And I imagine you should stay away from lollipops and things like that, or they might be testing you in the lab there and say, look what we found. This guy has a lollipop DNA. Not a good thing. Another important thing on this little 8-point chart here is they say postage is now $2.07 domestically within the U.S. So that's what it costs to mail back the little test kit, and it mails back in this envelope that they supply you, pre-addressed. You're just going to stick your stuff right in here, send it off, and it's done. So all that was just to sort of ease you into it so you're not shocked too much when we get to the really heart of the matter. And of course, by now, it used to be nobody really knew what DNA test was, but now most people do. When I'm at the festivals in Dublin and Louisville, they know now, and so it's not as much fun to tease a little bit. But this is it. This is your whole kit in this little tiny little bag. And one more piece of paperwork, and that's something you sign to release as a release. And it also asks you what's the oldest person on that family line you're testing. What country did they come from? If you know it, you can write that down. That'll help them figure some things out. So what you do is, and you do the very same thing, one for the left cheek and one for the right cheek. So I'll just do it once, and you'll see what the story is. Maybe I'll do it twice if it goes quick enough. Here it is. I snipped off the end of this, and it's just it's a fancy Q-tip is what it amounts to be. And you take it out. Don't want to get it dirty, and you make sure you didn't eat anything within the last hour or so. And all you do is take the little Q-tip and rub it for about 60 seconds on your cheek. Now, if I could talk right now, it'd be real good. It's not too bad. Now you're supposed to be vigorous for about 60 seconds. Well, I think that might be vigorous enough. I don't think so. I'm talking about. Remember, this was this cheek here. This is my left cheek. Okay, 60 seconds. We're just gonna assume that 60 seconds has happened. Then the only other thing you really need to do is take out this little thing. They got two of them, one for your left cheek, one for the right cheek. You open the little bottle. You take the Q-tip, which has a little handy-dandy little top on it, and you press the top down, and that will eject the top of the Q-tip into the bottle. Don't force it in or pound it in to touch the bottom of the bottle. Just let it drop on into the liquid there. You screw the red top on so it doesn't lose any of its effectiveness. And there you go. You got a completed DNA test. All you do then is drop. Of course, you got to do your other cheek, do the very same thing, but then you drop this in the envelope with the little green sheet of paper that you've signed as a release, and the these two things, and the other one of these. So you'll drop two little bottles like this and the letter into this green envelope, mail it off. You're done. $2.07 now, but you might check with your postmaster, because the way things go, that postage might be more right now because we have to keep the mails moving. That's it. That's the whole deal. You just got to do it one more time than I did, and make sure you do it 60 seconds. I might have just relaxed a little bit too much there. And that's the whole thing. The name of our testing group, which is for all Irish families, is Irish Families at Family Tree DNA. That's the name of our testing group. I'm the administrator, but I've been very negligent in my duties. I'm just trying to get back into it now. 700 people so far, and all the other people within Family Tree DNA get notified if there's matches, I believe. So it's going pretty well, and I think we're going to end up with quite a big group. So feel free to jump in, and of course, we do genealogy. I've written genealogy books on every county in Ireland and reprinted some of the old history. So it all ties together. You get to understand what that DNA means, perhaps, when you see what part of the country might have come from or what families you're related to. And remember, the DNA can tell you if people who spell their name the way that you do, are they related? Or maybe people that don't spell their name the way you do, they are related because somebody made a split back in history. And then, of course, there's people who have names nothing to do with you at all, and you're related to them. That's because there's something happened in the background there. But there's three main tests, and one's just for the guys, the Y-DNA, and one traces the female line back, and that's the mtDNA. And a man or a woman can take that, but it jumps back big pieces of time, whereas that Y-DNA, which is just the male line, has to be tested by a male for genealogical purposes, and that's just a bloodline. So you've got to have the blood of the line you're talking to. So you've got to be the son of your father physically all the way back, and that's how you trace really accurately for genealogy short term. And then they also have a thing called Family Finder, I think they're calling it, and it tests all just a bunch of miscellaneous DNA as my mind looks at it. I'm sure a scientist would have a better description, but it tests all kinds of little things floating around, and you find out like percentages, like maybe how much European you are, how much Asian, or American Indian. I understand they have a very definite marker. And then perhaps you got a percentage of African DNA too. You never know. But these DNA tests are good for all nationalities. It's just that we focus on the Irish. But you'll still get back your return no matter what nationality you are, and they'll tell you where you're linked to. So don't worry about that. I just recommend that Y-DNA test for the male line, which is the closest you can get, really. And that has to be taken only by a male of the family, a blood relation of the line you're tracing back. And I'm sure I've left out many things, and I should have made a bigger study of this, but I'm trying to show you how simple it is. That's it. It's the Family Tree DNA test, and we are the Irish Families group at Family Tree DNA. So, and feel free, you can get a hold of me. I'm Mike at irishroots.com, and let us know how it's going, and we'll be posting those results for those people that want them posted, and we'll see just what we've got. We'll see how many family members we've matched up. Thank you very much.